Friday, December 30th, 2016. We're pleased to bring you today's edition of the Government News Brief. Welcome. In the news, Minister of Business meets with shop owners to get feedback on the holiday shopping. The government starts a new chapter of sustainable forestry practices, and the Buxton community to get a new pump station in the coming year. Stay tuned as we bring you the details of these and other stories. Thank you for staying with us. I'm Tiffany Rogers. Before we go to the news, here's a public announcement. The Georgetown Public Hospital Corporation GPHC is in urgent need of blood, especially O-positive blood. Persons interested in donating blood are urged to visit the blood bank or contact the GPHC as soon as possible. Now for the news. The Minister of Business today visited shops and vendors along Regent Street to get some feedback on sales during the holiday season. Isaiah Braffett reports on that visit.
Minister of Business Dominic Gaskin had a walkabout on Regent Street early today to interact with business owners. Feedback from business owners was mixed.
We had a mixed response from most of the businesses, but generally I think most of the people were polite and were, I think, happy to be engaged. And I myself was happy to just walk around and say hi to some people who have been, the driving force behind this center of commercial activities.
Many business owners said that there has been a significant influx of Cuban shoppers over the Christmas season. This is helping to boost business, Minister Gaskin notes.
I think there are a number of reasons. Obviously, they find the shopping here attractive. I think they find the prices are good. I think Guyana is a place that they can travel to easier than perhaps some of the other countries. So there are a number of reasons, and it's a good thing. It's always good to have people come to your country and to shop.
Minister Gaskin says that the influx of foreign shoppers is something that needs to be built upon.
Shoppers coming to Guyana, I think it's something that we need to try to build on. How we do that, it's something that we have to sort of strategize over. It's not something that we've had a long time to ponder, because this is a relatively recent development and we're still trying to see or figure out exactly what is driving it.
For the year 2017, the minister is hoping that business in Guyana picks up and is urging foreign investors to come to Guyana and do business. Isaiah Braffett for the Government News Brief.
The government will begin a new chapter of sustainable forestry practices and reinvigorate focus on value-added production. This comes as the government plans to reallocate forest concessions once held by Barama Logging Company. Here is Neil Williams with the details.
The Ministry of Natural Resources is inviting tenders for forestry concessions previously held by Barama Logging Company. Speaking to the media yesterday, Minister Raphael Trotman said advertisements are being placed locally and internationally.
The Guyana Forestry Commission has been advertising in the media locally, as well as in major forestry magazines and websites regionally and internationally, to invite interested and highly competent parties to submit expressions of interest for state forest exploratory permits. The deadline for these applications, for the submission of applications, is January 20, 2017. The processing of applications will begin after the deadline for submission has closed, and we will begin a new chapter of greater sustainability practices in forestry and a reinvigorated focus on value added.
Minister Trotman says 1.6 million hectares concession previously held by Barama will now be divided into 4 smaller portions.
One of these portions will be used for conservation. A second will be made available to small loggers who are interested in pursuing sustainable logging activities, whilst the last 2 will be open to multinational companies interested in operating larger concessions in an environmentally sustainable manner.
In October, Barama announced its decision to not extend its forest concession agreement with the government of Guyana. Trotman assures that his ministry, through the Guyana Forestry Commission, is monitoring the winding up of the company's logging operations. He says that the Ministry of Social Protection is engaging the company directly on matters related to its workers. I am Neil Williams for the Government News Brief.
CARICOM skills certificate will only be issued if the applicant meets the regionally accepted criteria. Paul McAdam explains.
Guyanese requiring a CARICOM skills certificate will only be able to obtain them if they are properly qualified, says Minister of Foreign Affairs Carl Greenidge. Addressing the media yesterday during the Foreign Affairs Ministry's year-end press conference, the minister explained that CARICOM member countries have agreed to create a single economic space in which goods and people should be able to move reasonably freely.
Those who can move, once they have a skill certificate, they can move reasonably freely amongst the states. Ministry of Foreign Affairs is charged with that responsibility, not with giving out the certificates at the whims and fancy of the minister.
The Foreign Affairs Minister says that the certificate is given to citizens based on the criteria agreed upon by all member states.
So I can't sign a certificate, and I'm looking at you journalists in the eye, that I can just issue to you because you are either just bright or you're working or you smile very nicely. The criteria that we all would have had to agree, and the same criteria that I use to inform the certificates I sign, the Minister of Foreign Affairs uses to issue certificates in Barbados to Barbadians who may be interested in coming to Guyana.
The free movement of skills and labor throughout CARICOM entails the right of a CARICOM national to seek work and or engage in gainful employment in all member states, with the exception of the Bahamas, Montserrat and Haiti, without the need to obtain a work permit. Free movement of skills is classed under two categories: wage earners, which will be persons seeking employment, and non-wage earners, persons who are self-employed. Paul McAdam for the Government News Brief.
The community of Buxton will get a new pump station in 2017 as the Ministry of Agriculture undertakes drainage and irrigation works across the country. Here's more. Minister of Agriculture Noel Holder says construction of the new pump will replace the outdated one that has been serving the community since 1927.
It has outlived its usefulness and will be replaced by a new pump station in 2017. Buxton is one of the lowest villages on the east coast of Demerara and will be efficiently drained after years of constant floods.
The construction of the pump station in Buxton is part of the Ministry of Agriculture's flood risk management project. Government will be spending $2.5 billion in 2017 to reduce flooding and improve drainage and irrigation for over 300,000 residents along the east coast of Demerara.
In 2017, the majority of works will be carried out, including the construction of 3 pump stations at Lusignan, Buxton Villages, and Hope and Moor. The reconstruction of the northeastern dam of the East Demerara Water Conservancy, specialized training for staff in hydraulic and hydrology modeling, and an emergency preparedness plan for the East Demerara Water Conservancy.
Meanwhile, Minister Holder says there are plans to map the drainage and irrigation channels in each region as part of improving the management of the NDIA and the MMA ADA, which has oversight responsibility.
These maps will show the locations of other pertinent data. It will indicate which works are executed by water users associations, community development councils, farmers groups, neighborhood democratic councils, etc., and will be a major asset in depicting the DNI systems throughout Guyana.
Improving the drainage and irrigation throughout the country is expected to improve agricultural productivity and reduce incidences of flooding. For the Government News Brief, I'm Tiffany Rogers. Come 2017, Guyana will have a center to train persons from here and across the region in care for persons with various physical disabilities. Delicia Haynes has the details.
The Ministry of Public Health plans to construct a building where physiotherapists from Guyana and across the Caribbean will be trained. It will have medical supplies and all the necessary equipment. Minister of Public Health Dr. George Norton says that in 2017, millions of dollars would have been invested to improve the quality of treatment offered to persons with disabilities.
That tripartite agreement we have with CARICOM, the Cuban government, and the government of Guyana, with the institution that is being right now at this Portal College of Education compound, would come into force, and we will start training trainers at that institution.
Meanwhile, Minister within the Ministry of Public Health, Dr. Karen Cummins, added that the National Commission on Disability will be resuscitated. The commission aims to strengthen the capacity of both adults and children with disabilities.
We are going to form a commission, Disability Commission, There is one, and so we're going to we won't resuscitate, but we want to put some continue what they're doing. Of course, you know, we have at the University of Guyana program, because disability is not just the wheelchairs and so forth. We work with the other chronic diseases in terms of rehabilitating stroke patients and so forth. And also they have a program at the university in terms of training. They can do further training at the University of Guyana. So we'll continue capacity building as well.
A total of $21.8 million was appropriated in the national 2017 budget as capital expenditure for the rehabilitative care. This will enable disabled persons to achieve a greater level of independence and a greater level of participation in society. For the Government News Brief, I am Delicia Haynes.
That brings us to the end of the Government News Brief for today and for 2016. It has been our privilege at the Government Information Agency to serve you this past year. We look forward to being of even greater service to you in the new year. We thank you for your support and encouragement along the way. The next Government News Brief will be on January 3, 2017. Until then, remember to use our roadways in a safe manner. Thank you and have a prosperous and productive 2017.